Hello and welcome to an in-person Conversations Over Coffee. With me today is our CEO and founder, Steve Beeson, and our president, Gidon Margolin. Today is a special day. We're in DC just after the finishing Connect 2022, where we had a bunch of our partners come in and talk about what they're happy about, what they're excited for, and they talked about the future, what they've done in the past with practicing excellence. And so I thought, what better time to talk about our history and our future than right now? Steve, if I could start with you. From the founding, you had an idea and a plan for the future. Now that you've reached today, have you met your expectations? Are you seeing what you wanted to see, or some things changed along the way that you weren't ready for?
Well, you're giving me way too much credit that I planned all of this. What I knew back in our origin is that, the process of helping clinicians become what they want to become was pretty transformative for me back in the day. That was replicated with other clinicians, and super simple things that allowed them to become the kind of clinician that they thought they're going to be when they joined this profession. And then just taking that experience to say, how can we bring that everywhere? I've told the story many times, sitting in a Starbucks, reflecting on the fact that helping people do things that they never learned, to make meaningful change, to make incredible impact, was something that was desperately needed in healthcare and super hard to scale. Having been serving as a coach for many, many years, and sitting in that Starbucks thinking, how might we use technology to scale and bring to healthcare what is demonstrated to make a big impact, what we saw at Sharp Healthcare. And also to make the lives of those providing care better, meaning I'm being the kind of clinician I hope to be. And for patients that say, that's what healthcare should be. And that's really when that whole journey began. And since then, just kind of trying to figure out, listening to members, what do you need? And how can we best do it to help you create the kind of outcomes that are important to you? And just keeping our ear to the ground. And building and creating and innovating and constant PDSAing the company and how we approach it to get where we are today. And today was pretty affirming that we're at least moving in the right direction.
Definitely, yeah. I think that's the fun thing about Connect, is hearing what they want to see in the future, giving us ideas, but also sharing how things have gone well. And I'm seeing how, like you said, scalability, we're reaching that with our goal. We're not there maybe perfectly yet, but we're seeing the output, we're seeing those the things we were looking for since the beginning. So that's very exciting. Now, Gidon, you have a unique history with the company as well. You came in probably in about halfway point. You saw the company, you saw its promise. What inspired you to stay, be a part of the company? What about the culture was it for you?
Yeah, I think it all starts with Steve. He had a lived experience working day in and day out trying to make healthcare better, and sort of that aha moment of how do we scale this so everyone gets the benefit of it. I thought that was a really bold vision. We spent a lot of time in healthcare talking about ways to improve. And I thought the original vision that Steve had was really more focused on solutions. I personally have a deep belief system that people matter, right? And they're the most important asset for any organization. And Steve was doubling down on figuring out a way to coach and develop those people in a way that could impact thousands of folks. And to me, that was a game changer.
Definitely. You spend a lot of time talking with our partners. You got that one-on-one time. Looking towards the future, what are you seeing them looking forward to? What are they preparing for? What do they want to do with the coming year?
Yeah, I think we could all agree that it's been fairly turbulent in healthcare. And unfortunately, there's no end in sight. I think the silver lining is, having spent a day and a half with some of the leading health systems in the country, is that there is hope and optimism. There's a pragmatism that we can and must do more to support the clinicians, leaders, and teams who care for our communities. And so there is a sense of optimism there. And I think as we think about the future, there is an understanding that we can get through this together. And so as you talk to leaders across the industry, they're taking everything we've learned from the past and really investing time and attention to figure out how do we learn from where we were to redesign a new normal, right? And just marching to get there.
I love how you say there's hope and there's a dream for the future. I think that's one of the unique things about healthcare, is you never lose that hope. Even in, during the pandemic, you heard that story from the start to, well, still in it, but, part of it along the way. Now, Steve, when we were writing the ebook, we talked a lot about future state, and we talked a lot about what we want to see healthcare become. So where do you see practicing excellence? If we're looking forward, we're in that future state as well, where do you see us as a company in that fold, being a part of that?
You know, we want to continue to be an instrument that creates, meaningful change. I think that we're really deliberate about what action will we take to support members on the mastery journey that can drive a meaningful outcome. And an outcome certainly is a metric because it's a data world, and we have to drive turnover reduction and engagement, advancement, and patient experience improvement. We have to do those things. But I think more importantly, as we look to the future state of practicing excellence, we want our members to say, 1, 2, 3 years after partnering with us, everything has changed. How we're talking about our teams collaborating together on team-based care, adhering to evidence, and making high-value care delivery to our populations with compelling outcomes, with tons of pride, coupled to clinical excellence as they support their communities. We want the individual clinicians to say, this thing that we learned, this mastery journey that we're on, allowed us to say, in this place, allowed me to become the kind of clinician that I always envisioned when I signed up for this. All that delayed gratification of high school and college and medical school and residency and nursing school, I finally finished and I got there, and it's what I hoped for. And we want leaders to say, I have now deployed efforts that lift my people. I've become a servant to them and what matters to them. And by fueling a purpose and lifting people and using high engagement leadership skills that I learned, the people that I lead are really immensely contributing to our organizational mission. They're accessing their discretionary effort to help us become successful. And they go home at the end of a day saying, we work super hard, but man, I love my team. I love our mission, and I'm super appreciative of our leaders. And then through all of that qualitative notion, as I said, we've got to deliver quantitative outcomes. And we would love to get to the point where we have predictive analytics to say, if you partner with us, we can predict that this is going to happen to turnover. This is going to happen to engagement. This is going to happen to patient experience if you follow the process, the implementation of building a technology-powered mastery journey. That's the future goal.
Well, thank you guys both for taking the time out of the day to come and talk with me. I'm excited for the future of this company. I'm excited for the future of healthcare, and it's all to you guys. So thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers.